The Galactic Council sat in its grand chamber, a vast room filled with representatives from many alien species. Each delegate had their own way of looking at the universe, but they all agreed on one thing: they needed to maintain peace among the stars. The Council had ruled for centuries, but today felt different. There was tension in the air, and the Council members sensed something big was about to happen. A young alien scientist named Zorak stood at the front of the room, his green skin shimmering under the bright lights. He cleared his throat and began to speak. "Esteemed members, we have discovered something extraordinary, a nebula unlike any we have seen before. It has the power to alter minds and create chaos among those who enter it." Whispers spread through the chamber as the delegates exchanged worried glances. Zorak continued, "Many species have ventured into this nebula, and they have returned changed, confused, or not at all. But there is one race that seems immune." The Council gasped collectively. "Who?" asked a tall, blue-skinned alien named Vyra, who represented a warlike species known for their fierce battles. "Humans," Zorak replied, his voice steady. "They enter the nebula and come out unaffected. We must invite them to discuss this discovery." Some members were skeptical. "Humans? They are a weak race, not worth our time," a grumpy short alien named Crag shouted, his voice filled with disdain. But the council leader, a wise old alien named Eldrin, raised his hand for silence. "Let us not underestimate them. They may hold secrets we do not understand. We must invite the humans and learn why they are immune." Days later, the human envoy arrived. A small ship landed in the council's spaceport, and a group of 5 humans stepped out. They were dressed in simple clothing, looking curious yet confident. The council watched with mixed feelings, some with disdain, others with hope. As the humans entered the council chamber, they were greeted with silence. The delegates studied them closely, trying to find weakness in their demeanor. The human leader, a tall woman named Captain Sarah, stepped forward and introduced herself. "Thank you for having us," she said, her voice strong. "We are here to discuss the nebula and how we can help." The council members looked at each other, unsure of how to respond. Eldrin spoke up. "We have heard reports that your kind is immune to the mind-altering effects of the nebula. Is this true?" Sarah nodded. "Yes, we have entered the nebula and face no adverse effects. We believe it has something to do with our biology." Some council members exchanged glances, disbelief painted on their faces. "How can you be sure?" asked a sharp-eyed alien named Vex, who represented a species known for its intelligence and cunning. "We tested it," Sarah replied, her expression serious. "We sent a group of humans into the nebula. They returned unchanged, able to think clearly. We believe that our brains may function differently, allowing us to resist the effects." The council was intrigued but still skeptical. They decided to test the humans for themselves. Zorak proposed a plan. "Let's send one human into the nebula under controlled conditions. We will observe them closely." A murmur ran through the council. Some were eager to see the test, while others worried it was a mistake. Captain Sarah volunteered. "I will go. I want to show you that we can handle it." The council members were hesitant but agreed. They set up the experiment, surrounding the nebula with advanced monitoring equipment. As Sarah prepared to enter, she felt a mix of excitement and fear. What if she wasn't immune? What if this was a mistake? But she took a deep breath and stepped into the shimmering mist of the nebula. The colors swirled around her, bright and mesmerizing. As she moved deeper, she felt the pull of the nebula trying to influence her mind. But she remained focused. Back in the council chamber, the delegates watched nervously. They could see Sarah moving through the nebula on their screens. Minutes passed, and then she emerged. Her expression was calm, and she looked around, her eyes clear. The council members were stunned. They could hardly believe what they were seeing. "This is incredible," Zorak whispered, his excitement bubbling over. Eldrin, amazed, spoke for the council. "We must learn more about humans and their immunity. This changes everything." The room filled with chatter as council members discussed the implications. Humans were not the weak race they thought. They were a mystery, and the Galactic Council had just begun to uncover it. The atmosphere in the Galactic Council chamber buzzed with excitement after Captain Sarah's successful test in the mind-altering nebula. Members of the council spoke in hurried whispers, exchanging thoughts about the humans and their remarkable immunity. Questions filled the air, and curiosity was at an all-time high. They had never encountered a race like humans before. Eldrin, the wise leader of the council, called for order. We must conduct further tests to understand how the humans resist the effects of the nebula. We cannot ignore this discovery. Zorak, prepare a comprehensive study. Zorak nodded eagerly. Yes, my lord. I will gather data and prepare a controlled experiment. We need to ensure the safety of the humans while we learn from them. While Zorak worked, the council decided to invite more humans to participate in the tests. A second envoy arrived days later, bringing more scientists and volunteers. Among them was a young man named Jake, who was eager to prove humanity's resilience. He was adventurous and enthusiastic, ready to face the unknown. As the testing day approached, the council set up a large viewing chamber filled with advanced monitoring equipment. They designed a series of experiments to observe how the humans reacted to the nebula in different scenarios. The tension in the air was palpable as everyone gathered to witness the first test. Zorak explained the plan. Today, we will send Jake into the nebula with special equipment to monitor his brain activity. We want to see how his mind reacts to the nebula's influence. Jake felt a mix of excitement and nerves as he prepared. I'm ready for this, he declared confidently, adjusting his gear. He had trained for this moment and wanted to show the council that humans were more than they appeared. As Jake stepped into the nebula, the council members leaned forward, eyes glued to the screens. The vibrant colors swirled around him, and he felt the familiar pull of the nebula trying to infiltrate his mind. But Jake remained focused, keeping his thoughts clear. Minutes passed, and the monitors began to display data. Zorak watched closely, taking notes. Incredible, he murmured. Jake's brainwaves are stable. He is resisting the effects just like Sarah did. The council erupted in astonishment. They had expected some changes, but Jake appeared unfazed. However, one council member, a skeptical alien named Crag, crossed his arms. This is just one human. What if he is an exception? Eldrin turned to Crag, his patience wearing thin. Then let's test more humans. We will send in a group this time. Let's see if they all share this immunity. The next day, a team of 5 humans entered the nebula together, ready to face the challenge. Among them was Sarah, confident after her first successful test. The council monitored the group closely, noting how they communicated and supported each other as they navigated the swirling colors. Inside the nebula, the humans could feel its effects trying to invade their thoughts. However, they worked as a team, encouraging one another. They laughed and shared stories which seemed to create a protective barrier against the mind-altering powers of the nebula. Back in the council chamber, the members were captivated by the humans' unity. Zorak noted the group's brain activity and found that they were collectively resisting the effects far better than he had anticipated. This is remarkable. They are stronger together. As the test continued, the humans began to notice something strange. I feel different, one of them, a woman named Mia, said. It's almost like the nebula is trying to communicate with us. Eldrin raised an eyebrow. Communicate? What do you mean? Mia focused on the colors around her, feeling a connection. It's like it's alive. It wants to tell us something. This revelation sparked excitement and concern among the council members. If the nebula had a consciousness, it could be more than just a mind-altering phenomenon. It could hold secrets about the galaxy, something they had never considered before. After what felt like hours, the group emerged from the nebula. They were tired but exhilarated, their expressions filled with wonder. The council was eager to hear what they experienced. Tell us everything, Eldrin urged as the humans gathered around. Mia spoke first, her voice full of enthusiasm. It felt like the nebula was alive, like it wanted to connect with us. We need to explore this further. It might hold answers about its power and origins. The council members exchanged glances, realizing the importance of what they had discovered. The humans were not just resilient. They were opening doors to understanding the nebula's true nature. Crag, who had been doubtful, now looked intrigued. Perhaps we should work together. This could change everything. Eldrin nodded. Yes, let us unite our knowledge and explore the mysteries of the nebula together. The humans have proven they are allies, and we have much to learn from one another. With newfound respect for the humans, the Galactic Council began to envision a future where their 2 species could work side by side, unraveling the secrets of the nebula and the universe beyond. Excitement filled the chamber, signaling the start of a remarkable journey. As the days passed, the Galactic Council and the humans grew closer. Together, they studied the mind-altering nebula, hoping to unlock its secrets. But not everyone in the council was pleased with this new alliance. Some members saw the humans as a threat, fearing that their growing influence would disrupt the balance of power in the galaxy. In a shadowy corner of the council chamber, Crag, the short, grumpy alien, plotted with other skeptical delegates. "We cannot allow humans to gain too much power," he whispered. "They may seem harmless now, but we do not know their true intentions." His fellow conspirators nodded, their eyes filled with doubt. "What if they discover a way to control the nebula?" one asked, his voice low and worried. Crag smirked, his mind racing with ideas. "We must act before it's too late. We cannot let them undermine our authority." Meanwhile, Sarah and her team continued to work with the council. They organized meetings to share their findings about the nebula and offered suggestions for joint exploration missions. The humans felt a sense of excitement and purpose, believing they could help unravel the mysteries surrounding the nebula. One evening, as Sarah prepared for another meeting, she sensed something was off. The council members were unusually tense, and their eyes seemed to linger on the humans with suspicion. During the meeting, Vira, the tall blue alien, asked pointedly, "What do you hope to gain from this collaboration, humans?" Taken aback, Sarah replied confidently, "We want to understand the nebula and ensure it does not pose a threat to any species. We believe knowledge should be shared, not hoarded." Vera crossed his arms. "But how can we trust you? You could be hiding your true motives." Sarah felt frustration rising in her chest. "We have nothing to hide. We want peace just like you. But we cannot progress if we do not work together." As the meeting ended, Sarah could see the divide growing. Some council members were supportive, but others were clearly against the humans. She confided in Jake, her loyal companion. "Something feels wrong. I think some council members are plotting against us." Jake nodded, concern etched on his face. "We need to find out what they're up to. If they're planning something, we have to be prepared." That night, the humans gathered in their quarters, brainstorming ways to uncover the council's plans. Mia suggested, "Let's listen in on their meetings. We need to know what they're saying behind closed doors." With a plan in mind, they set up a simple listening device in the council chamber, hoping to catch the conspirators in the act. As they gathered around the device, tension filled the air. They had never done anything like this before, and the stakes were high. The next day, they listened intently as council members gathered for a secret meeting. Crag spoke first. "The humans are clever, but we must not let them outsmart us. We should spread rumors that they are dangerous and that we need to keep our distance." Another delegate chimed in, "Yes, if we can turn other races against them, they will have no power here." The humans exchanged worried glances. "They can't be serious," Jake whispered. "They're trying to turn the whole galaxy against us." As the meeting continued, the humans realized they had to act fast. They could not let the council's deception succeed. After the meeting, they decided to confront the council openly. Sarah called for an urgent gathering of the council. When all members were present, she spoke passionately. "We have learned about a plot to undermine our alliance. We know some of you believe we are a threat, but we are not. We come in peace and want to work together." The council members shifted uncomfortably. Crag stood up, his face red with anger. "You have no proof. You are merely trying to distract us from the truth. Humans are deceitful." Sarah's heart raced, but she stood firm. "We overheard your plans. We know you want to spread lies about us to turn others against us." Gasps filled the chamber, and several council members looked shocked. Eldrin, the leader, raised his hand for silence. "Is this true, Crag?" Crag stammered. I was only expressing concern." "Humans are not to be trusted!" Eldrin frowned, his eyes narrowing. "We will not allow fear to drive our decisions. We must unite against challenges, not divide ourselves further." The atmosphere in the chamber was tense. Some members nodded in agreement with Eldrin, while others remained skeptical. The rift between humans and aliens widened, and Sarah could feel the weight of the moment. "Let us prove our worth," Jake spoke up, his voice steady. "Let us show you what we can accomplish together. We can explore the nebula and discover its secrets. If we succeed, you will see that we are allies, not enemies." The council members looked at each other, their expressions filled with uncertainty. Eldrin considered Jake's words, knowing the decision could change everything. "Very well, we will give you a chance. If you can help us understand the nebula, perhaps we can mend this rift." As the meeting ended, Sarah and her team felt a mix of hope and fear. They knew they had a difficult road ahead, but they were determined to prove themselves and fight for their place in the galaxy. Little did they know that the challenges they faced were just beginning. The atmosphere in the Galactic Council chamber crackled with tension as Sarah and her team prepared for the critical meeting. They had one chance to prove their worth and secure their place among the council members. The stakes were high, and failure was not an option. As the humans arrived, they noticed a mix of apprehension and skepticism among the council members. Eldrin, the wise leader, stood at the front, his expression serious. "Today, we will decide the future of our alliance with the humans." They claim to have knowledge about the nebula that can benefit us all. Let us hear their proposal. Sarah took a deep breath, stepping forward with Jake, Mia, and the rest of her team. "Thank you for this opportunity, Eldrin. We believe we can explore the nebula and discover its secrets together. We propose a joint mission, combining our technology with your knowledge of space." Crag, the grumpy alien who had been against them from the start, interrupted. "What if their technology fails? What if they lead us into danger? We cannot trust them with such a critical mission." The council murmured in agreement, and Sarah felt her heart sink. She needed to convince them that they were capable. "We understand your concerns, Crag, but our experience in the nebula has shown us that humans can navigate its complexities. We want to share our findings, not control the nebula." Vera, the tall, blue-skinned delegate, leaned forward. "How can we be sure you will not use this knowledge against us? The power of the nebula is great, and we cannot take risks." Jake stepped in, his voice firm. "We don't want power. We want to understand. The nebula is a mystery that could threaten all of us. If we work together, we can protect ourselves and learn more about this phenomenon." Eldrin listened intently, sensing the growing divide among the council members. "We must remember our primary goal, peace and cooperation. Let us focus on the mission ahead. Can we trust the humans?" Crag shook his head vehemently. "No! We should reject their proposal and keep our distance. This is our chance to protect ourselves." At that moment, a small alien named Phylor, who had remained silent until now, spoke up. "We need to consider the potential benefits of working with the humans. They have shown resilience and teamwork in the nebula. Perhaps we should give them a chance." The council chamber erupted into chaos. Delegates shouted over one another, voicing their opinions on whether to trust the humans. The argument grew louder, and Sarah felt a wave of frustration wash over her. She knew they had to act fast to regain control of the situation. "Please!" Sarah raised her voice, trying to be heard above the clamor. "We have already proven ourselves. We survived in the nebula while others have not. Give us this chance to show you what we can do together." Eldrin raised his hand for silence once more. "We must decide today. If we turn our backs on this opportunity, we risk not only our future but the future of the entire galaxy." As the council members continued to debate, Sarah noticed that Crag's supporters were growing restless. It was clear that Crag was working hard to undermine their efforts. She needed a plan to gain the council's trust. "Eldrin," Sarah said, her voice steady, "I propose a test. Let us enter the nebula together, humans and council members. We will show you our skills and teamwork firsthand. If we succeed, you will see that we are allies. If we fail, you can dismiss us." A heavy silence fell over the chamber as Eldrin considered her proposal. The other delegates exchanged glances, unsure of what to say. Finally, Eldrin spoke. "A bold suggestion, Sarah, but a risky one. If we proceed, we must ensure that all parties are committed to the mission." Crag, sensing the momentum shifting, blurted out, "This is madness! They will lead us to our doom! We must not participate!" But the support for Sarah grew. Vera looked at Crag with disappointment. "We cannot let fear control our decisions. The humans have shown courage, and we should not deny them a chance to prove themselves." With a sigh, Eldrin raised his hand again, demanding silence. "Very well, we will conduct this test. The humans will join us in the nebula, and we will see if they can work alongside us. This is your opportunity, Sarah. Do not waste it." Excitement mixed with fear surged through Sarah and her team. This was their moment to shine, but it would not be easy. They had to navigate the dangers of the nebula with the council watching closely. As the meeting ended, Sarah gathered her team. "This is our chance to prove ourselves. We need to show them that we can work together. We cannot let Crag and his allies ruin this opportunity." Jake nodded, determination in his eyes. "We will make it work. We're not just fighting for ourselves, we're fighting for our place in the galaxy." With their spirits high, the humans prepared for the upcoming mission, unaware of the challenges that awaited them in the depths of the nebula. But they were ready to face whatever came next, united as a team. The day of the mission had finally arrived. Sarah and her team stood at the launch bay, their hearts racing with a mix of excitement and anxiety. The Council had agreed to join them on their journey into the mind-altering Nebula, and now the success of their partnership hung in the balance. Eldrin and a group of Council members were present, ready to board the sleek starship that would take them into the Nebula. The ship was equipped with advanced technology, but it was the combined skills of humans and aliens that would determine their success. Sarah felt a rush of determination as she glanced at her team, all wearing expressions of focus and resolve. "Remember," she said, addressing both the humans and their alien counterparts, "we need to work together. This is our chance to show the Council what we can achieve as allies." As they boarded the ship, Craig's sour expression did not go unnoticed. He had reluctantly agreed to participate, still doubting the humans' abilities. Sarah made a mental note to prove him wrong. Once everyone was settled, the ship's engines roared to life, and they launched into the vastness of space. The stars blurred into streaks of light as they sped toward the nebula. Sarah felt a sense of awe as they approached the swirling colors, vibrant and chaotic. It was beautiful and terrifying all at once. As they entered the nebula, the colors enveloped them, dancing across the ship's windows. The crew members were silent, their eyes wide with wonder. But Sarah knew that beauty often hid danger. She turned to Jake, who was monitoring the ship's systems. "Keep an eye on the readings. We need to be ready for anything." The ship jolted suddenly and alarms blared. The nebula was reacting to their presence, and the mind-altering effects began to take hold. Some of the Council members looked uneasy, their eyes darting around as the vibrant colors swirled more intensely. "Stay focused," Sarah called out. "We can resist it together. Keep talking to each other." Jake quickly engaged the ship's stabilizers, fighting against the tumultuous forces of the nebula. "We need to establish a connection with the nebula. Maybe if we communicate with it, we can navigate its depths more easily." With determination, Sarah led her team in a chant, encouraging each other to focus their minds. "We are strong. We are united. We will not be swayed." As they repeated the words, the atmosphere in the ship shifted. The Council members began to regain their composure, and even Cragg found himself joining in. "We are stronger together," he shouted, surprising everyone, including himself. The nebula responded, the colors shifting as if it recognized their unity. They began to see images within the swirling mass, visions of ancient ships, forgotten worlds, and secrets long buried. Sarah felt a connection forming, a sense of understanding that transcended language. "Look!" Mia exclaimed, pointing to the images. "It's showing us something. It wants to communicate." The crew focused on the visions, trying to decipher the messages hidden within the nebula's depths. Each person felt a unique pull, a sensation that suggested a deeper connection to the nebula's mysteries. With each passing moment, the fear that had gripped them began to fade. Suddenly, the ship's systems flashed with warning lights. "We're losing control!" Jake shouted, frantically tapping at the controls. "The nebula is too strong." Eldrin stepped forward, his eyes filled with determination. "We must trust in each other. We've come this far. Let's pull together and guide the ship." With renewed resolve, everyone joined in, focusing their thoughts and energy on stabilizing the ship. As they channeled their collective will, the ship responded. The colors around them shifted, transforming into a brilliant light that enveloped the vessel. The light filled the cockpit, and suddenly, they found themselves at the heart of the nebula. It was breathtaking, with swirling patterns of energy dancing like stars in the night sky. They could feel the consciousness of the nebula, pulsating with life. "We did it!" Sarah shouted, her heart racing with excitement. "We've made it to the center!" The crew shared a moment of awe, realizing that their unity had allowed them to break through the nebula's barriers. They had proven that humans and aliens could work together, overcoming their fears and doubts. As they began to explore this new realm, they discovered hidden knowledge, ancient technology, and resources that could benefit both species. They knew this was just the beginning of a long journey together. Back at the council chamber, news of their success spread quickly. The council members who had doubted the humans were now filled with admiration. Cragg, still grappling with his skepticism, approached Sarah with a hesitant smile. "Perhaps I underestimated you. You have shown great strength and unity. I apologize for my earlier doubts." Sarah felt a surge of hope. "We're all learning together. Let's use this opportunity to strengthen our alliance and build a better future for all. With new friendships forged and a shared mission ahead, the humans and the Galactic Council stood united at the brink of a new beginning. They had faced their fears and emerged stronger, ready to explore the galaxy together and uncover its secrets as allies.